code versus fortified?
Well, that actually comes from code and fortified both. And fortified in your parish, the wind and hail, it's an option. It's not required by code. It's not required by fortified. It might be incentivized by carriers, which that's why you suggest a call to the agent or the carrier. I did that in my father-in-law's case. His house has been insured. I'm not going to name the insurer, but y'all all know the names, big name, for 65 years, ever since he built the house. I asked them if we're going to put a new roof on anyway in the fortified grant program, and it's costing him, I think, $14,000 or $15,000, if I remember right. We're considering putting an impact-rated shingle on there, Class 3 or Class 4. Do you give a discount for that? That carrier's answer was yes, absolutely. We'll give 6% discount. We don't require it. Fortified doesn't require it, but if you do it, we'll give a 6% discount. In my father-in-law's case, it's a very simple house, not very big, it's in Gretna, and that equates to $135 a year premium saved. My father-in-law is 89 years old. All of this is over his head, and he just trusts his, of course, his daughter and me. So the cost to put the impact-rated shingles in his case was more than, it was like 15 years, and I couldn't recommend he do it. And I'm not sure, I'm trying to get him to shop around for carriers, but right now that's not an option. In South Louisiana, you can't shop carriers very readily. It's risk-based, as you say, and the carriers, you know the story. A lot of carriers were bankrupted by the hurricanes that hit us across the state. There's some that are still here, and they pretty much are dictating their terms. So yes, check with your carrier. Impact rating is not required in the wind zones. The American Society of Civil Engineers actually sets a map into the code. They are recognized as the authority, really. They are a contributor to code, and they're recognized by Fortified. If you want to look at that one page, I wish I'd brought it. We could put it up on the wall. It's like a contour map. It's wind zones. And the further inland you go along the Gulf Coast, the less the winds fall off, because the hurricanes that come ashore, as you know, they drop their wind speed as they go ashore. That's the real source for wind speed. That's also the source, the American Society of Civil Engineers' actual experience with hailstorms. They're not unheard of. They can happen, but they're extremely rare. So the discounts that one receives for a hail impact-rated shingle in St. Tammany Parish is far higher than it will ever be in St. Bernard or Jefferson, where I live. I'm sorry if I drifted again. I hope I'm answering some questions here.
No, you're fine. I also just wanted to mention, just as informational purposes, there's discounts for impact-resistant roof, but there's also discounts for impact-resistant glass shutters, storms, panels, and garage doors.
Yep.
So if somebody's building a new home, I think that would be something to weigh out the cost difference and consider, for sure.
We'll come to work for you on that one, too. The Wind Mitigation Surveyors Group Committee that we're forming, we hope to form and empower and elect their own leader under our wing in March. And we have some very big names in that field of wind mitigation surveyors that I hope, I mean, I talk to these guys at least once a week. And they're really out there trying to help as many people as can call them for $300. That's the first call for everybody to make, and they will lead each individual homeowner into awareness and knowledge so the homeowner can make their own decision with information, knowledge, and a certification on their own home. So that is the first step. I'm really glad y'all brought that up.
In addition, just for some more clarity, when you talked about the fortified, you mentioned earlier fortified gold. Could you also briefly explain, because there are different levels, could you also give a brief overview? Sure.
There's fortified roof, which is the first layer. If you're putting a new roof on, the difference between, and you're going to obey the law, then you're going to obey the code in Louisiana. That's what your ordinance is going to make sure of. We'll be there to help you because you will need some help. It's not just because, forgive me, it's not just because you say so that it starts to happen. It takes enforcement, and that's takes some patience too. Even in St. Charles Parish, a much smaller parish, they've already, I don't want to tell bad stories, but there's already some houses that didn't obey the law and they've been cited, and there's been a workaround, there's been a solution found. But the first step for everybody is wind mitigation. The second step is if you're going to spend money on your own home, then you want to do it with, you've got two questions. What's it going to cost, and what am I going to save if I spend that money? That's what the wind mitigation group is working to answer. So is the Department of Insurance now. They're assembling. Somebody asked about is it being published? It hasn't been published yet. I think the rates had to be settled by the Commissioner's office in November. I have not seen a public-facing document yet that shows what the discounts will be, but that's coming. But the first step is still wind mitigation. Also, your ordinance, if you pass it, allows someone to repair their roof, anything up to 50%. So a minor repair around a shingle, something comes loose, or a small repair, that does not have to be brought to code. That's what your ordinance will do, and that should be allowed. And my father-in-law's case, he considered doing that, and he got a price. It unfortunately would cost more than just replacing the roof. But what I'm saying is it's limited to 50% because that's the distinction in code between minor and major.
Thank you.
Sure.
Ms. Markowski.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was still in. I'm good. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Mr. Bruce, thank you for coming and explaining that to us. It's very informational, and we appreciate your time for coming.
Call us anytime.
Moving along, item number 7, council members for district update. Mr. McCluskey.
Thank you, Council Chair. Mr. Lane, I only have one small thing, and you know I very rarely bring anything to the dais about, individual items. We have 2 street lights out on the corner of Patricia and Jean Lafitte. And I do know that the complaint has been lodged and the administration is aware of it, but it's in our backyard and the residents upset about it. And if you could help me get that resolved, it's literally on that corner, right outside the park. So that's all I have. And I appreciate, the administration's ability to react so quickly to things in most cases. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCluskey. Ms. Cusimano.
The only thing I have is to let everyone know about the St. Bernard Parish Sports Hall of Fame banquet, which is coming up on March 9th at 7 p.m. It's actually going to be at the Segure Civic Center instead of at Val Reese. And we'll be honoring a lot of St. Bernard citizens, past and present, athletes that have gone through our schools, and one of the people that's going to be recognized is the late Boo Jones. People younger than me probably don't know who that is, but Mr. Jones was very involved at Chalmette High and with the school system, and they're going to recognize him for the Humanitarian Award. So if y'all can make it, there's all over Facebook. You can scan the QR code and get tickets, or you can call me and I can get you some tickets. So I appreciate the participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cusimano. Ms. Meyer.
Thankfully, the past couple of weeks have been seamless. Any complaints that I've had or concerns are either being worked on or were handled. And I have some follow-ups pending for the stuff that is still in the queue. The way I've spent my past week, I know a lot of people were on vacation and so forth, but I was finally able to start setting up some meetings with residents and some residents, and also I want to thank former Council at Large Richie Lewis, and I also would like to thank former Council District C member Howard Luna for taking their time to meet with me, sort of like a transition meeting that was very fruitful, was very helpful, and that was able to give me a lot of working knowledge that I'm going to need, and it was a valuable asset, so I just want to thank them for their time. So basically, my meetings have been with what my constituents would like to see for District C. What improvements, what concerns they have. In addition to, I reached out to Ms. Lonnie, and we're gonna set something up to talk about District C as well from the recreation standpoint. We also have a meeting, President Pomez, Councilman Randall, and myself will be meeting with Valero soon. So we have that working as well. I plan on continuing the meetings with business owners and constituents just to kind of get a grasp, in addition to when I campaigned, what I was told at the door, so to speak, when we're knocking doors. So that way I'll have a scope of where we're gonna start and what we would like to dive into. The only thing I truly have at this point is Fire Chief. I just want to follow up on something from the last meeting. So it was mentioned that you were going to work on some plans, like the 5- and 10-year plan. I know you were out of town. I just didn't know where you were with that. In addition to, we discussed like your marketing efforts and education for the constituents, like were you able to get the ground running with that? Has there been any efforts, anything on Facebook with that? And lastly, if we have the final version of that study yet, and if not, when would be a timeline on that? I'm sorry.
Sure. Like you said, I was out of town, so was CAO last week. My staff had kind of put together a preliminary plan for the initial plan if the millage passes versus if it doesn't pass. I have not got a chance to get with administration yet, because before we put that out, we want to make sure that it's not only accurate but sustainable before we put any information out. So we should have that for you hopefully by next council meeting.
Okay.
And then as far as the study, I have not spoke to Stuart. I know before we left, he was working with CAO, who at the time was the assistant finance director, about some financial. I think that's the last piece left of the study, is the financial piece. So I haven't spoken to him since I've been back, but I'll reach out this week and get that information to you as soon as I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer and Ms. Moniz.
Okay, well, she just hit on the Chiefs plan. I want to remind everybody that on March 2nd and 3rd is the Aslenos Fest going on down in the lower end of St. Bernard Parish. It's a great festival. It's one of the ones that I really look forward to. I want to see if there's an update, if we got on the oak tree. Did we get that arborist in touch with one, or what's going on with that?
Yes, we did. We sent out an arborist to go and check the tree out. It does have to come down. His recommendation is that the tree does have to be taken down.
Okay.
We reached out to Energy, and hopefully that Energy is going to have the limbs that are hanging over the high power lines. They'll remove that section, and then we're gonna hire a contractor to take the remainder of that tree down.
Okay. And I know it's a state highway, and I know we did get somebody out there to go pick up the branches, but it looked like, I don't know if it was a contractor or something, went along State Parkway by heading to Carnarvon. They must have cut a bunch of trees and trimmings, and they just left them there. Somebody did go out and pick up the ones that was blocking the Lynn Oaks coming out. They did pick up that, but there is a bunch of them still along the way, all the way up to the state park.
Right, that's contractors. They're not working for us, but they're supposed to be picking them trees up as they're cutting them down. We'll check into that tomorrow.
Okay. Other than that, that's all I have.
What Ms. Moniz is talking about, that state highway, that the trees belong to them. They should be doing that. That ain't nothing to do with us.
Right, that's what he said.
We pretty much maintain all of the state highway on the grass, but not with the trees that's growing up into the power line. Just that all Energy handles that part, but everything to do with the grass cutting on the state highways, that's a different story. That St. Bernard Parish government is cutting the grass from the parish line in Araby, Delacroix, Wacklowski, Shell Beach for about $80,000 a year. So we're going to have another conversation on that pretty soon.
No, I was just checking with the tree. I knew it was a contractor doing that with the state property, but with them getting the complaints that it's not being picked up, it's in drainage ditches now, and I didn't know who to contact, but I did, and thank y'all so much for going out there and getting that taken care of.
John, you want to talk? You in here? Mr. Randall?
Thank you. Very quickly, Chief, I know we spoke about medical billing. I would like to follow up on that with you at a later time. Second, 5 more residents' concerns have been handled. Thank you for the administration for that as well. And lastly, February 24th, 11 to 3 at Dockville, cook-off for the coast, live music, free admission. It is something for all the residents to go do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Randall. Mr. Moran?
Thank you, Council Chair. One thing I'd say to the rest of the council, and Chief, you've done pretty great with this over the last couple of years, having an open door policy if we want to go view the stations. You know, we're getting ready to go into a big endeavor that parish government and the fire department are going to have to join hands together and walk together on this path. And I would tell every council member here, go visit the fire stations, talk to the firemen, go to administration, see their needs, talk to them about what their vision is too. But you should really go visit with them and see, you know, everything they have to say too. I think it's important to everyone involved in the conversation. And really nothing for administration, more or lessly just a comment for administration and for the public. You know, this adoption of the roof permit that we're attempting to do today is, I don't want to say revolutionary because I don't think it is, but it's something in a huge step that St. Bernard's going to make a difference in, something that we are attempting to do. It's something we're not, this council, just in the brief time that I've been with them, they're not accepting this is how it's always been and this is our procedure, how we're going to do it. I'm very optimistic of the changes that we're going to make, and I'm very, you know, grateful for the openness to administration to listen to some of these policies that we're willing to bring to you and willing to adopt them. So thank you to administration, and thank you to the colleagues on the council with me.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. I got one, Mr. Pomaz, I need you to get in touch with Mr. Daniel Barber. He owns the property right next to the Florissant levee. Since they elevated the roadway, it's complete. He took out his ingress and egress to his property. He could use, we went down there and looked, Justin Gilbo went down there, looked at it. He could turn off onto the levee, which is our property, and if we can add him like a ramp to go to his property, and it'd be safer for him to get on the highway and get off the highway right there. It wouldn't cause much of a problem. It wouldn't be nothing to fix that problem either. So, are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
You're talking about on the south side, like across from where Mr. Hassick used to live at, right across the street?
On the other side, across.
On the other side, on the
Yeah.
south side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I went down just a couple days ago to look at that project. There was a driveway there. You know, at one time there was a home there before Katrina. And he is starting to clean out his property. And I don't know if it was him exactly, but it was someone that come and asked the question if we can replace that driveway for him. And we're all for that. Yeah. We
Okay,
told
his
him
name's Mr. Daniel Barber.
Got it.
Okay,
We'll
so I'll
take-
get you his phone number and that, and we'll see if we can go out there and check him out, see if we can give him access to ingress and egress to his property.
Right. That's not going to be a problem. It wasn't in the scope of work when the DOTD came in and helped us out with raising up that road. If it would have been in the scope of work, they would have done that. But we can do that in-house. We can take care of that.
Okay, one more thing, Ms. Bonaz was on the trees. The trees right before, I'm calling the Nan's house, by Diane, by
That was by Roxanne.
Yeah, by Roxanne.
That should have been taken down today.
Okay.
Right? Should have been done today. I'll double check that for you tomorrow. If not, it'll be taken down tomorrow.
And what about the other ones that we have with, up here in Chalmette where it was hanging
We're working on that. I have to get Mr. Justin Stevens involved in that one.
Okay.
But
So
we're
you have to
working
get-
on that. 2 pine trees.
So as long as you're on it, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else in the queue? I'm seeing none. Moving along. Mr. Louis Pomaz, item number 8, Mr. Louis Pomaz for President's report. You can go to the website and read it. Item number 9, recognize the public. I have one constituent, Mr. Raymond Doran. Please come to the mic and state your name and address, please.
My name is Raymond Doran. I live at 232 Beaver Drive, Arabi, Louisiana. I worked for the parish in the Community Development Department from 2012. I worked there for 7 years through 2019. In the summer of, and what my position was to handle the Louisiana Land Trust lots through re-subdivision, making them bigger lots, doing the lot next door program, the Build a Bundle program, and just the different auctions we did. In the summer of 2018, I was approached by a contractor and by an organization called Operation Finally Home. And what their proposal to us was that they asked us if St. Bernard, especially in Arabi, since we were one of the fastest growing communities in the country, if we would donate a lot to them to allow them to build a home for a veteran who was injured and is handicapped for one of our heroes in America. We negotiated the deal, and then on, I think it was November 12, 2018, we donated 1809 Rose Street in Arabi to Operation Finally Home, with the stipulation that within 1 year, they would build that home and have a presentation. It was supposed to be at a Saints game, half of a Saints game, but the parish would be recognized for donating that property to this individual. I retired in 2019, February of 19, so like 3 months after the donation was made. But I continued to look to see what was going on. During the past administration for the last 3 years, I've been contacting you all. I've been asking you all what's going on. Why is this not moving forward? Well, if you go there today, it's still a vacant lot. Sometimes needs the grass to be cut, but nothing's being done. I contacted Ms. Cusimano, Mr. McCluskey, Mr. Pomaz, and I talked to Mr. Landry today, and he's telling me that the clawback has been initiated. That it looks like we're at a point where we're going to take the property back from Operation Finally Home. Now, what I'm going to ask y'all to do is not put that property in the parish's inventory, but keep it separate to where, put together some program to either reach out to Tunnel for Towers. If you look at Tunnel for Towers commercials, they ask for $11 a month. If that lot is worth $60,000, it's 454 years of donations to Tunnel for Towers. Think about that for a second. Or we take and we put the money, we put the property up for auction it off, and give the money to Tunnel for Towers or to some other organization to where we know it's going to go to one of our veterans. We had a good heart in trying to get it done, but that was almost 6 years ago, and it's still sitting there. I'm just asking for you all, as our new council and new president, that we get the ball moving and get this going. I mean, I just sat through 2 hours of listening to you all talk. I know you all got a lot on your plate, but this is something that's eating at my heart every time I see a T2T commercial on television, and it's like, it's just not right with what they did, and by just being, dominant and nothing getting done on that property. I'm asking that you all please address the issue and get something done, and try to take the proceeds from what we do. If we sell it or donate it, that it goes to a veteran for a mortgage-free home. That's all I want to say.
Mr. Raymond, I got one council member in the queue. Mr. McCluskey?
Mr. Doran,
Oh, Ms. Cushman.
when you brought that conversation to me in 2018, I thought it was one of the greatest things we could possibly do with the property that we had. It felt good then, and it feels even better now, right? So,
It would feel great.
unfortunately,
It would be great if it was done.
unfortunately, the situation became what it was, right? So we had to execute the clawback procedure. We have done so. You have my word that I will vote to continue with the intention of what we started, which is to donate that property to an organization who will fulfill the goal of donating that home to one of our heroes. So thank you for what you do and all that you did during your tenure at Community Development, and I just wanted to leave you with that.
Thank you.
One more, Mr. Cusimano.
I've been in touch with Justin Stevens. He's the one who drafted the letter to the organization it was originally donated to. I don't think we're going to have any flack from them. They're clearly in violation of the donation. So there shouldn't be any problem there. And I've started checking into organizations like Tunnel for Towers to see what we need to do on our end so that that property can be redonated to another organization that will actually move on it and do what we intended for that property to be. And so it's in the process, you know, government wheels turn slowly. So, but it is being worked on.
Thank you.
Mr. Raymond, thank you for coming, and I commend you for not letting this, you've been working on it for a long time, since 2018, and not letting it fall on deaf ears and keep bringing it up, you know. So now you have our attention. I'm going to show the administration is going to work with you, and Ms. Cusimano and myself and this board. So let's see what we can do from here on out. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, see no more, and recognize the public. Moving on to public hearings. Item number 10, summary number 4154, introduced by Councilmember McCluskey on 2/6/24, an ordinance to amend Chapter 5, Building Construction and Related Activities, Article 1 in General, Section 5-1, Building Code, adopted and amended Chapter 1-Administration, subsection 103.1, permit application to create and add subsection 103.1.4, re-roofing permit required, and amend Appendix D fees, Section 6, Community Development Public Works fees, subsection 2-0, schedule for permit fees of the St. Bernard Parish Code of Ordinances. Anyone here to speak for? Anyone to speak against? Seeing none, moving on to resolutions. Number 11, adopt resolution SBPC 2351-02-24. A resolution ratifying the following salaries of the Director of Finance appointed by Parish President Louis Pomans in accordance with Article 4, Section 401B of the St. Bernard Parish Home Rule Charter. Moved by Mr. McCluskey, seconded by Mr. Moran. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote your machine. Motion carries. Item number 12. Adopt resolution SBPC 2352-02-24, resolution authorizing the parish president to adopt St. Bernard Urban Rapid Transit Schubert Civil Rights Title 4-6 Program Update. Moved by Mr. McCluskey, seconded by Mr. Moran. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote your machines. Motion carries. Item number 13, resolution SBPC 2353-02-24, resolution requesting the reimbursement for Councilmember Randall for an expense incurred from the American Planning Association. Moved by Mr. McCluskey, seconded by Ms. Myers. Ms. Myers. Any discussion? Mr. Randall.
Thank you, Chairman. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of what this entailed. This is me renewing the American Planning Association membership, joining the Louisiana chapter. a few specific versions of it as well. County Planning Division, Hazard Mitigation, Disaster Recovery Planning, Technology Division, Small Town Rural Planning, and Transportation Division. But the majority of this cost is in the Passport program. And what that does is allows me to access all APA publications to be able to do research for the planning side for the council, of which we have already done a tremendous amount. And that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Randall. Mr. McCluskey.
You know, I just want to say how valuable an asset, you know, your planning background has been so far in this conversation, and the fact that, you know, you have a degree in planning. I thought it would be a disservice to this council for us not to give you the tools that you need to be the most valuable asset that we could have on this council. So thank you for all that you've done. You know, the fact that we have an attorney, an insurance agent, 4 business owners, a certified planner, the wife of a fireman. I mean, this council is just stacked, man, and it's been a true pleasure to work with you all. And, you know, I'm so humbled to be able to just sit back and like I always intended, learn from each of you. And that goes especially for you, Mr. Randall. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCluskey. I'd like to echo what Mr. McCluskey just said, Mr. Randall. You're a true asset to this on planning and zoning. You with your years with the Planning Commission and what you know, what your background is, it's a great asset. Vote your, seeing no more discussion, vote your machines. Motion carries. Item number 14, adoptions. Summary number 4154, introduced by Councilman McCluskey on 2624, public hearing held on 2/2024. An ordinance to amend Chapters 5, Building Construction and Related Activities, Article 1, in General Section 5-1, Building Code adopted and amended Chapter 1, Administration, subsection 103.1, permit application to create and add subsection 103.1.4, re-roofing permit required, amend Appendix D, fees, Section 6, Community Development Public Works fees, Section 2-1, Schedule of permit fees of the St. Bernard Parish Code of Ordinance.
Subsection 6.2.
I'm sorry, correction, subsection 6.2 of the scheduled permit of St. Bernard Parish Code of Ordinance. I apologize. Thank you for catching that. Moved by Mr. Moran, seconded by Mr. McCluskey. Any discussion? Mr. McCluskey.
You know, talking for a long time tonight. I know this meeting's running long, but it would not be fair to have this going further without recognizing community development. You know, I brought this to community development 6 months ago. I don't know how long ago, but a long time, you know, and you and Jason Stopa and Pam Carroll and the entire team over there has been so supportive, and we didn't act rashly. We studied this, we looked at it in practice, and we took our time, and we made what we felt to be an informed and correct decision that's going to help improve the insurance situation in St. Bernard Parish. So all of that hard work, the many, many meetings that we've had, and the time that you and your team have put in, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCluskey. Introductions. Item.
Any further discussion?
I'm sorry. Any further discussion on this item? Please vote your machines. Motion carries. Introductions. Item number 15, summary number 4155, introduced by Councilmember Moniz on 2/2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance SBPC 2496-05-23, an ordinance declaring certain former land and trust properties to be held for public use and declaring the remainder of the former Louisiana Land Trust properties as a surplus to be auctioned. Moved by Mr. McCluskey, seconded by Mr. Randall. Any discussion? Seeing none, vote your machines. Motion carries. Other matters. Item number 16, motion to discuss any action taken as it relates to information received from the Coastal Zone Advisory Committee. Mr. Lane, any information? No information. I got one thing to say. If Ms. Danielle from the CPRA gets in touch with you on a meeting, I requested a meeting with them to sit down and talk and discuss the operational procedures of the Carnarvon Freshwater Diversion. Please, get with us and make sure that everybody knows about it. I want everybody to come to it, all the council members. Thank you. Executive session. Item number 17, motion to enter an executive session to discuss a lawsuit against St. Bernard Parish government by Donald Bourgeois in civil number 23-1254, 34th Judicial Court for the Parish of St. Bernard. No objection, we'll go into... Well, I need a motion. Moved by Ms. Cusimano, seconded by Mr. Moran. We're now in executive session.
Ready, Leo? Ready, Leo? Go ahead.
Okay, without objection, I'll return a motion to go back into regular session. Moved by Mr. Moore?
No, you did it without objection.
Okay.
Without objection, return to regular session.
Got it.
I'll entertain a motion.
Exactly.
Mr. Moore.
Advice of legal counsel.
Oh, wait, Mr. Moore must.
You got it.
Mr. Moran?
Make a motion, take advice from legal counsel.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion?
Any objection? We assume that motion.
Assume that a motion.
Read your last line of your
I
agenda.
know, I'm looking for it. I apologize. Long meeting. Next regular scheduled council meeting will be held Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.